We measure the sizes of the information in your different loci across the chromosome. Compare that to information from population databases that allow us to trace your roots back to indigenous groups spread all over the world, perhaps 10,000 years ago. We're getting much deeper information about indigenous groups from all over the world. Up until recently, it was sort of European dominated, and now we're getting much better information from widespread distribution of indigenous peoples across the world. So that gives us more precision in our estimates of human migration over time.
My lineage takes me back to India, Morocco, the Mediterranean areas, which when you consider that I'm, this guy from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, where there's a lot of Icelandic, Ukrainian people, never would have expected that my lineage would go back, especially to India. That was a total surprise. Maybe a little bit disappointed in that some of it kind of seemed like it was almost like a form letter, It did give you the exact results, but you have to be a bit of a mathematician to read some of the results as well. So that's why I asked if I could follow up and get some kind of a follow-up from the people there. They then sent another email, so I learned a little bit more. They more or less dissected everything they sent in the first batch.
I did a report when I was in 7th grade on my family history, and actually what I found out was I was pretty much, what I thought I was Northern European, English, French, German, and actually I found out that there was a side of my family that was Mexican. My great-grandfather married someone who couldn't even speak any English from Mexico. So when I did this, it actually, it turns out that I was Spanish, almost completely. What's so cool about it is this is the absolute strongest point here, this yellow dot. No. It doesn't make a difference to me one bit. I think it's important that as our cultures kind of start to blend more and more, that we understand where exactly we come from and whatnot.
Every time you add a relative, you can invite them, and then they can join the tree and help you add to it. And so the idea is I invite my relatives, they invite their relatives, and then they invite their relatives, and the tree keeps growing until essentially everyone in the world is part of that family tree. So all these other genealogy sites, and there are many good ones, are really focused on one individual user creating their family tree. And we're trying to create actually a collaborative project where everyone in your family is actually working together to create this family tree. We have a bedrock privacy rule which says that only the people in my family tree can see the people in my tree. And so the only people who can see my profile are the people in my tree. And the only way you can join a tree is to be invited to one.
Divided by